Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. You might notice we're a little bit of a different angle today. We might also be a bit echoey because I'm in my living room today. The lamp in my bedroom has blown, so I have no light in there whatsoever at the minute. I'm kind of living off my phone light. So I'm here today to bring you my September wrap up. Now, I read hardly anything in September. I'm just going to put that out there. I read 3 books in the first week. However, September very quickly went downhill. And I'm not going to go into it too much in here, but my mental health has been pretty abysmal. Quite fitting because in 2 weeks' time, on the 19th of October, I'm going to be taking part in the BookTube Roundtables discussion on mental health in BookTube. I will leave a link to that down below. It will be a live show over on Kerry the Book Bells channel, where a group of amazing booktubers are going to get together and talk about their mental health and how BookTube is affected by their mental health. So I hope you come and see me there because we're going to have a very frank discussion, I think, and it's come at a time where I think I just really need to talk about my mental health a little bit more. Like I said, September was abysmal. I'm still clawing my way out of it. I think I'm going to be in this for quite a while though, so we will have to see what happens. However, I did manage to read 4 books in the month of September and I'm going to tell you about them now. The first book I listened to was an audiobook and that was A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I absolutely adored the audiobook for this. There are 2 options on Audible. One is just the normal narrated audiobook and the other one is, I don't know what it's called, but it's like sound effects added to it. I listened to the one with sound effects and it was so much fun. Basically, every time like it said doors opened on the spaceship, doors would open and you would hear it, and if there was a battle you could hear pew 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 kind of going on, and I really enjoyed that. It really helped immerse me into the world. So this book is about a group of people aboard the Wayfarer, and it is a multiracial, multi-species kind of affair. People from all sorts of different planets and worlds are all on board this ship, heading on their way to a small angry planet, and there are hijinks and shenanigans and all sorts that you would expect on a really long journey in space. Can't really tell you too much else about that because this is a very character-driven book. There's not a lot of plot and action, but the action that does happen is really intense because you have got such an intense connection to these characters. So I absolutely adored it. I have downloaded the second audiobook, so I'm going to be listening to that as well, but really excited to have listened to this. And this is a book that I got out from the library a few months ago and just never got around to reading, so the audiobook really helped me along with that. The second book that I read, I also don't have. I don't actually have any of the books I read this month here with me, but that is What's a Girl Got to Do by Holly Bourne. This is about a young girl called Lottie who starts an experiment at school whereby she has to call out every instance of sexism that she sees or hears, and this includes sexism towards females and males, and it kind of explodes when she's interviewed by a radio station, and a lot of people are angry with what she's doing, but it is a very good look at sexism and the female experience as a teenager in particular. So I really enjoyed this book. It is the 3rd in the Spinster trilogy. I have read the first book, which is Am I Normal Yet? I haven't read the second one, which is How Hard Can Love Be? However, I managed to pick up a few Holly Bourne books for free in September, so I'll show you those in the haul. But I'm really excited to just finish this series because you don't have to read them in order. They just follow 3 characters, and Holly Bourne just has a way of writing very simple books that really pack a punch, and I enjoyed it so much. The next book I read was for my In Real Life book club, and we read Everything Is Lies by Helen Callahan. This is a book about a young girl, 26 years old I believe she is, who gets a phone call from her mum one Friday night, absolutely frantic, telling her to come visit, and she decides not to because she is about to embark on an affair with one of her colleagues. Anyway, it turns out he is married and she doesn't take it any further, and the next day decides to drive down to her mother's house. However, she finds that her mother has hung herself seemingly and her father has been severely injured, and finds out that there has been a string of burglaries and stuff going on at her mother's home that she didn't know about. So she decides to investigate this, and I can't really tell you what it's about without going into too much detail, but this has a lot of cult elements to it, so it's very interesting in that regard. I don't really like thrillers. Thrillers have never been my thing, so I didn't particularly like the thriller aspect of this. However, the cult aspect I really enjoyed. It's basically told through her mother's old journals, and it's just really interesting to read about. Lots of twists and turns, and very accessible to anybody, I think, who has never read thrillers. But yeah, definitely enjoyable, if not something that I would usually reach to. And then I didn't read anything for about 3 weeks until the very end of the month, when I read another audiobook, and I finally got around to listening to The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I have wanted to read this book for so long. I read Daisy Jones and the Six back in April and absolutely adored it, so I thought it was about time that I picked up Evelyn Hugo. I don't think I liked it quite as much as I liked Daisy Jones. However, what I really enjoyed about this book is that the main character is bisexual, and a lot of the book focuses on her sexuality. So of course she has 7 husbands and she's telling that whole story. It's kind of a spoiler, but you've probably heard it anyway with how this book is talked about. I think it is very important just to bring it up. So if you don't want to know, skip a few, like 30 seconds. But I just really enjoyed the fact that she had a long-standing relationship with a woman, and that is discussed in great detail in this book, and also that there's quite a bit of arguing against the fact that she's a closeted lesbian and fights against bi erasure. I really enjoyed that about this book, because there is so much bisexual erasure in the media, and the fact that this main character there are attempts to erase her sexuality, however she fights her battles and says, no, I am bisexual, we exist. I adored that. I flew through this audiobook, I listened to it in like a couple of days and just really fell in love with it. But like I said, I think I enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six just a little bit more. So those are all the books that I managed to read in September. Like I said, not too many. September was stressful, but I also started a few books that I didn't quite finish. First of those is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Now my buddy read this with my friend Shannon and she read it and enjoyed it. However, I read Normal People by Sally Rooney a few months ago, and that is one of my favourite books of this year. Conversation with Friends, I have decided to DNF, which is kind of gutting, but I do have the audiobook, so I might listen to the audiobook at some point. Just reading the book was not for me. I also started If We Were Villains by MJ Rio. This was our September pick for the Dog-Eared Book Club. I, again, got about 100 pages into it, really enjoying it though, so I'm not DNFing this. It's just taken me a while to read because of everything that has been going on. Everything has just been absolutely crazy. And I also started Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett, which was the pick for my In Real Life book club of September. I didn't get around to finishing this. I'm not sure if I will, because I think I'm just going to take it back to the library and read it again at a later date, because I do have the first few books in this series at my dad's house, so I can always go back and read them another time. So those are the books that I did read. I enjoyed what I read mostly. I just didn't read a lot of it. October is off to a pretty poor start as well. Like I said, a lot of the things that started in September are carrying on to this month, and my head's just not in the best place. I've also started university again. I'm completing my masters. What I'm going to be reading is completely different to what I want to be reading, but we'll see what happens. I've got this week off, so I'm gonna do a little bit of reading, make some videos, and just try and get back into the swing of things. I'm doing a live show in a few weeks about mental health in BookTube, so I'll leave links to that down below so you can get all the information. I'm really looking forward to doing that actually. And I'll be doing my TBR and other videos very soon, so I hope you stick around for those. I'll leave all my links down below and see you in another video. Bye!